Welcome to World Tech Update. I'm Martin Williams in Tokyo. Nick is on assignment right now, but he'll be here in a little while with some of the week's US technology news. We start this week, however, in Europe. On Tuesday, regulators fined DRAM chip makers €331 million. That's around 420 million US dollars for collaborating to fix the price of memory chips. The fine was levied on Samsung, Hynix, Infineon, NEC, Hitachi, Mitsubishi, Toshiba, Elpida and Nanya. And it could have been higher, but the companies got a 10% reduction in return for admitting the facts of the case. Micron was also involved in the price fixing, but was not fined because it revealed the cartel to the European Commission.
We are not compromising on cartels. A cartel is the worst violation of competition rules, since its object is to collude against the interests of other companies and of consumers.
Sticking with Europe, and this week the Digital Agenda, a 5-year IT master plan for the entire European Union, was launched. Through the plan, the EU hopes to do things like create a single market for digital content, a common response to cyber attacks, and boost domestic broadband speeds.
By 2013, broadband coverage for all EU citizens will be there. By 2020, fast broadband coverage at 30 megabytes per second for all EU citizens, with at least half European households subscribing to broadband access at 100 megabytes per second.
Despite its grand goals, the agenda includes very few details on how they'll be achieved. The Commission said it foresees some 100 follow-up actions as a result of the plan, of which 31 will be legislative. News in Brief and Symantec will pay $1.28 billion to acquire VeriSign's security business. The deal will expand Symantec's security operations and leave VeriSign to focus on its more profitable domain name operations. Facebook was hit by another embarrassing privacy bug. The web programming bug, which the company has said has been fixed, could have allowed hackers to alter profile pages or make restricted information public. It's the latest in a string of privacy problems for the company that has some users leaving the popular social networking site. And a shortage of the latest Intel laptop microprocessors worsened in April, but the chip giant says it will meet demand by the end of the quarter. The shortage involves Intel's Arendelle laptop microprocessors, including some Core i3 and Core i5 chips. And now it's over to Nick, who has more of this week's technology news.
Thanks, Martin. We'll start with Google, that's in some hot water for collecting people's internet communications from open wireless networks. Late last week, the company said it would stop its Street View cars from sniffing wireless networks after discovering they've been collecting encrypted content unbeknownst to them. The problem was discovered after the Data Protection Authority in Germany requested an audit of the information gathered by the Street View cars. Google discovered that it was actually collecting payload data, or the content of IP packets, in addition to Wi-Fi data like SSID and MAC addresses. This presents a big problem for Google, not only because the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has been asked to investigate the gaffe, but because only a few months ago at Hanover, Germany's CeBIT trade fair, Google was trying to win over the trust of the German people. In a blog post, Google said, "We are acutely aware that we have failed badly here." A former security guard has pleaded guilty to charges that he broke into his employer's computers while working the night shift at a Dallas hospital. What was the most incriminating evidence? The YouTube video of his exploits.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ghost Exodus. You're on a mission with me, infiltration. I just so happen to be the only person here. And you know what? We're going for a spin. It's an elevator with a card that only I have right now.
He was a member of a hacking group known as the Electronic Tribulation Army. According to the Department of Justice, he installed the botnet code in order to help take down the website of a rival hacker group. He was arrested just days before the planned July 4, 2009 distributed denial of service attack. He now faces up to 10 years in prison on each of the 2 counts. He is set to be sentenced in September. General Motors is presenting its vision for the future automobile at the World Expo in Shanghai, and it looks like this. GM calls it an ENV, or Electric Networked Vehicle, and it comes in 3 models: the Pride, Magic, and Laugh. They're designed with urban transport in mind, since GM claims that by 2030, urban areas will be home to more than 60% of the world's 8 billion people. The ENVs use a lithium iron phosphate battery that can be charged using ordinary outlets, though GM didn't say how long that would take. It has a max speed of 40 kilometers an hour and a range of 40 kilometers. GM claims the car can be driven manually or autonomously, and showed that in this demonstration. Autonomous control works by using GPS, vehicle-to-vehicle communications, and distance sensing technologies. GM isn't the only one with the idea, though. A similar technology was shown by Nissan when we were at CTEC 2009 in Japan. These robots drove around a track and avoided obstacles and accidents by communicating with one another. The GM ENV platform came from a project debuted in 2009 from both GM and Segway called the Personal Urban Mobility and Accessibility, or PUMA, transporter. There's no word on when or if either will be commercialized. That's all from here in Boston. I'll be back next week with more news, but for now, it's back to Martin in Tokyo.
Thanks, Nick. We'll see you again next week. Next, we're off to Nepal, where this week UNICEF launched a new text messaging service that promises to connect young people with the world. Access to computers is relatively low in Nepal, but many people have cell phones. Through the new service, youth are encouraged to send a free text message to 4400 with their views and comments on issues that concern them.
This free facility will enable the young mobile users to connect to the World Wide Web through UNICEF Nepal's website, and the youth issues raised by the young mobile users are not only heard, but will be addressed and discussed.
UNICEF says around 2,000 text messages were received in just the first few hours of operation. And that's it for this week's World Tech Update. I'm Martin Williams in Tokyo. Nick is filling these shoes next week, so be sure to come back and see him then. On behalf of everybody at the IDG News Service, thanks for watching. We hope to see you next week.